What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Toyota Fanatics. We're out of here. We're gonna go grab some food, but I want to talk to you guys about something. But the question is, should we take the Tundra, maybe the Sequoia? Nah, let's take my favorite, the old T100. Thing is super filthy right now. We got more ash coming down last night, but who cares? What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Toyota Fanatics. So we're actually flipping it up today, and I'm actually going to ask you guys I need some information. And so I'm going to reach out to my subscribers, to viewers out there, ask you guys a couple questions, and I hope you guys have answers for me. They are about the T100, and I hope you guys can shed some light on some questions I have. And you know, I would consider myself a ninja, a black belt in the Toyota truck, Toyota SUV, Toyota 4x4 world, but there's a couple questions I have, and these T100s are scarce, so I'm having a hard time finding one around to look for myself and get some information. Plus, I want to ask you guys' opinion about something. Finally, we'll do an odometer reveal. Another question, another thing I want to know from you guys is, has anybody seen the odometer in the background? Does anybody know how many miles are on the T100? Because I pick up on things. When I watch YouTube videos, I notice subtle little tiny things in the background. And so I'm wondering, has any of you guys noticed anything about how many miles are on this thing yet? If so, drop a comment, but we'll get into that in a second. But number one question I want to ask you guys here today. You guys, I got to tell you something first. I got to admit something. I'm in love with the T100. I'm not falling in love with the T100. It's official. It's real. I'm in love with the T100. I've mentioned to you guys before, I've had something like 52 vehicles, mostly all Toyota 4x4s and SUVs, but this thing right here, love this thing. Can you even believe how dirty this thing is right now? It is not like me to leave it this dirty, but with these fires going on and the ash falling every night, there is just no reason whatsoever to even try and keep this thing clean. So the question I got for you guys, for T100 owners out there, I've seen a couple pictures of the interiors on some of these T100s. Show you guys those right now. But one thing I've noticed is there is a light emitting on a lot of these trucks from down here. Now I have this Clifford alarm box down there. When you touch it, and I mean when you breathe on it, it turns red. There's like some sort of kill switch right here. We have a alarm LED right here, but there is no active alarm. I don't want to go back there ripping around if I don't have to, even though at some point I really got to get that alarm out of there. There's just no need to have it. But I'm wondering, you guys, can any of you T100 owners please go outside and tell me if you have a footwell light right there? All the pictures that I've found of T100s that have the footwell light are SR5s. So I'm wondering, maybe they didn't give it to you on a DX. I don't know if Toyota would play such games with people these days. I'm pretty sure if Toyota was going to put a footwell light in a vehicle, they'd run it across the whole line. I can't imagine them saying the SR5s, we're going to run an extra wire to supply a light bulb right there, and then on the DX we're not going to. I mean, just like as I've learned with my Tundra, there's only one wiring harness. So my truck didn't come with the backup camera, didn't come with the backup, didn't come with the screen in the rear view mirror up here, and it was amazing. All I had to do was buy the OEM stuff, and right behind, of course we're talking about the Tundra, I'm just showing you for reference on the T100, it was right up there behind the headliner, it was plug and play. So it was amazing. Toyota only has one wiring harness, and I'm wondering, does the T100 have only one wiring harness, or do they have two to keep people from that footwell light? And I know the footwell light does not seem that important, but I would love to have it. So T100 owners, do you have a footwell light? Please let me know. And the next question I have for you guys is, should I keep this truck? There's a reason why I've had 52 vehicles before, and that's because I'm a compulsive seller. I like building them up, and once I get to a certain place, I have more fun building them up and cleaning them and fixing them than I do actually owning them. So when I get to the point where I'm at with this thing right now, this is usually when it says goodbye. And I'm really tempted, you guys. We've talked about, I got the deal of a lifetime on this thing, and I'm tempted to put this thing up for sale. I cannot begin to tell you guys how tempted I am to move on from this thing. But what I would actually be getting is another T100. I want a really clean one. I want a clean, low mileage one. I mentioned before, I really want to do the 4.7 Tundra engine trans swap, gauge cluster swap, solid front axle, and I don't know if this truck is the right one for a couple reasons. It has really high mileage. It's really rattly. And I've made jokes to people before. When people get asked for my advice on vehicles, they ask me, hey, you know, what's wrong with a super high mileage vehicle? And I say, you know what? Engines and transmissions are bulletproof in Toyotas, but everything else is gonna fall apart. And not because it's a Toyota, it's just because things fall apart. And this thing is super rattly. You can tell it has a ton of miles on it, I think. You know, I've mentioned to you guys too that this thing's been lifted its entire life. So it's not like my Tundra where I got it and then I did the stuff to it. So it's like, you know, it was real babied. It's beginning years, but this thing has looked like this its entire life. And I think that was hard on it a little bit. So I want to ask you guys, should I get rid of this thing? Also, this is a 95. It's the last year without the OBD2. It has a different throttle body than the 97s and 8s. There's a couple differences. You can't put the TRD supercharger on this one. It has a different ECU. There's a couple other things. I mean, these are very minor problems, but I'm wondering, you guys, should I get rid of it, try and find a cleaner one? Because I know I love T100s now. I know these are incredible vehicles, and I really want to put some time, energy, and money into one, and I'm not sure if this is the one. But I want to know, are some of you guys out there thinking, no, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. There is no reason whatsoever to get rid of this one. It is beautiful. It's perfect. You have a wonderful connection to it. It's already done you well. So let me know, you guys. I really need to know. Get rid of it. Try and make some really good profit on this thing, which I think I can, because people really like this T100. Something rare happened yesterday. I was actually out in traffic and I got a thumbs up from a guy in a lifted Chevy. And you could tell he was reluctant. He kind of had a smug look on his face and kind of gave me a little bit of a nasty look. And then he nodded his head and gave me the thumbs up. And you could tell he was like, man, that thing's badass. So even Chevy people are digging the T100. That says a lot right there, you guys. So a lot of miles on this drivetrain right here. But I did mention to you guys before that 40,000 miles ago on this vehicle, 40,000 miles, which unfortunately was like 6 or 7 years, this thing went to a Toyota dealership up in Sacramento, got a remanufactured engine transmission, 2 new 4-wheel drive front axles on each side, and a new carrier bearing for the drive shaft. So the engine transmission are taken care of. But just because the engine and transmission have been replaced, which is actually huge. Listen to me, what am I talking about? That's actually a gigantic thing, but it doesn't mean that every single other item, I mean, I almost think the lift on this thing is starting to get worn out. I mean, how could it not? So basically I'm waiting for the fuel pump to go out. Pretty much everything. I'm just waiting. Everything is a little looser than it should be, but 25-year-old vehicle. I mean, we've talked before. If this was a Ford Ranger. Sand! Throw sand in it, Christian!
Oh, fuck, dude. God damn, that fuck. Here, pop it.
If this was an S10, if this was a Dakota, if this was anything besides a Toyota, basically. Drove up a couple miles up this incredibly bumpy, crazy road. And this thing, although pretty rattly, you know, maybe I'm just used to the Tundra with the big old Boss coilovers, but this thing held its own. I gotta say, it's really impressive. It's really impressive. Look, we got a fellow Tundra owner right here, and you know me, I'm fascinated with wheels and tires, wheel and tire packages. What do we got here? Some fuels. Are these 20s? Yeah, these are 20s. 285 60 20s. I like that. I like that look. That look right there is pretty good. But in the meantime, let's go hit this crazy dirt road on the way back and have a little fun. All right, last question I got for you guys. What do you guys think of the extra cabs, access cab, of the access cab Tundras? Is it all about the access cab or all about the Crew Max? You guys gotta let me know. I'm partial. I love the Crew Max. The first time I ever saw a Crew Max Tundra, I want one of those. That thing is killer. But some people really like these access cabs. The only thing is you get a little bit more bed on these, because that's where you're losing the space. I think it goes to like right here is extra more cab. So when you need the bed space, it's good to have, but who doesn't need more interior space? That's where it's at. So access cab, Crew Max, You guys, give me some information on the T100. All right, you guys, that's gonna wrap up this video, but if you're new to the channel, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe. I don't really like to do a lot of these just talking videos, even though I do have something important to say and I want some important information, you guys, so I think it was valid, but I like to have a little action in there, something cool to look at, but we're just doing this today. But seriously, let me know, you guys. All right, I'm out. All right, so we just pulled up back home and I forgot to do something super important, and that is the odometer reveal. If you guys are ready, let's just, I'm just gonna give it to you guys straight.
For God's sake, just give me the damn number!
296,376 miles.
What?
296,376 miles. All right, so there it is, you guys, 296,000 miles. I've told you guys before in this video, even I mentioned that I've had like 52 vehicles in my life. I don't think, maybe more than 2 of them, I've even had 100,000 miles. How you guys know the mileage? What is the mileage on your truck? All right, we're out. Give me up.